Hey, chat. How's it going?
Howdy, chat.
We're in another building filled with airplanes at the Imperial War Museum here in Duxford, UK. Give us the status checks before we get too far into it. It's me and it's JDK here. Let us know that everything's working. I've got Twitch chat on the phone. We just turned the camera back on. Y'all are the production crew, so let us know if this is working or not. I'm back in chat, yeah. Sounds good, 5x5 all good. Excellent. There's a GR3 in the background. What planes can we see from here while we're confirming that we should actually change locations?
Well, there's the centerpiece is a Vulcan nuclear bomber. That was the kind of the version of the B-1 for the British. There's a Sunderland flying boat beyond it, which is a gigantic seaborne aircraft. Just to its right, that black biplane is a Swordfish biplane from the Second World War, a fantastic aircraft. And then kind of moving to its right, the brown and green modeled one is a Lancaster bomber. Lancaster, excuse me, British pronunciation. That was the big heavy bomber of the British arsenal during the Second World War. Dropped more tons of bombs than any other aircraft in the Second World War, just because it could hold the most.
Yep.
And let's see, I don't know all these. This is the original Concorde.
The original Concorde, chat.
Right, by the way, there's a Concorde that I've been hiding.
Yeah,
by the way,
hiding a Concorde.
Surprise, suddenly Concorde, like.
Right.
Not just the Concorde, the original Concorde.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know all of these.
That's okay. I see a Harrier back there.
There's a Harrier back there. Next to it is a Jaguar.
Yep, a Harrier and a Jaguar.
And then this one with the blue and white tail is a Comet. Yeah, that's That's the original jet airliner. The British actually did that first, more than anybody else. And a Lightning fighter plane.
Yep.
Right down there in between.
God, and then somebody said they saw the tail of the Lightning.
Yeah. Tail Lightning and a couple helicopters. And then the big one over there is the Hastings. That's like a DC-3 on steroids.
Yeah.
Actually like a C-54 on steroids. And that's that type of plane flew in the Battle of Britain, or not Battle of Britain, in the Berlin airlift.
Okay.
As well as one of the British contributions.
As did the Sutherland.
As did the Sutherland, yeah, the Sunderland did.
We think of the Berlin airlift as being all land aircraft, but they had water. They could, so they
Yeah.
actually they didn't use the PBY, but there were during the Berlin airlift there were those planes that actually flew in supplies also.
And there was a significant British contribution to that as well.
So the thing here about the building that we're in is that these are all British aircraft.
They're all British aircraft.
They're all British aircraft.
This building is kind of a history of British aviation. For viewers in America, you can kind of consider this like the Udvar Hazy.
It is, yeah.
Of Britain, like with the best and the most important ones.
And it's the same thing as the hangar we were in yesterday. These aircraft are literally wingtip to wingtip.
Yeah.
There's barely any clearance
Tucked in
here.
My favorite one in here is right in the middle, next to that blue tail on the Comet. If you come down kind of at a slight angle, there's a camouflage plane with its tail is in the back.
Yep.
That's a Tornado. That's a jet fighter. That actual aircraft flew 44 missions in the Gulf War, which was the most of any non-American aircraft in that war. That flew 44 combat missions. It's a little bit of everything. It can do air to air. It does a lot of air to ground. Does a lot of ground support. It actually took a leading role in blowing up Iraqi airfields in that war, and took heavy ground fire and could take a licking, keep on ticking. So that's the Tornado. It's a fantastic plane.
Wow.
But that particular one has a great history.
Like that aircraft, not that design of aircraft, or that model of aircraft.
That actual
that
specific
airplane. Piece of equipment.
Yeah,
I can't point that out enough.
Yeah, there's a lot in here like that. And the Swordfish over there in the corner, that black one, it had the nickname the String Bag during the Second World War.
String bag?
It's a biplane, so it's canvas, right? It's canvas covered. It could get shot up beyond belief and just be strings kind of flopping around, and it could still come back and land. It played a huge role in attacking the Italian fleet at Taranto in 1940, sank a couple of Italian battleships.
In a biplane?
In a biplane, torpedoes underneath it. And it also... Yes, and it's open cockpit.
Open cockpit biplane.
And then it also
sinking battleships.
And also helped sink the Bismarck out on the open sea.
Oh wow!
One of its torpedoes hit the Bismarck in its only vulnerable spot, its rudder. Everything else was completely wrapped in steel, and had a big steel anti-explosion plate.
Yeah.
And it hit the rudder, and the way it hit the rudder, it turned the Bismarck, which had outrun the British Navy. It was on its way to France after sinking their pride and joy, the HMS Hood.
Yep.
It hit its rudder, and that turned the Bismarck right back into the fleet, and the fleet caught up with it and sank it. And so it's a biplane. It doesn't even go 200 miles an hour.
Isn't that the one that you said they had?
Yeah, it could fly so low that the guns on battleships would shoot above. They
couldn't
shoot
they
low
didn't have enough deflection to get
Yep.
down to it.
So what they ended up doing is they would try to get the Bismarck anyway. They would try to keep an eye out when they were far out and start
Right.
firing shells from the 16-inch guns into the water.
Oh,
so that the water would come up and maybe knock them down. And it just didn't work. And so you could shoot these things up and they could still fly.
They would just keep flying.
Yeah, because
And they carried a torpedo. They could carry a torpedo.
One torpedo. One torpedo off of carriers, yeah. Yeah, that's why it got the nickname the string bags, because they would come back just in pieces. There's one story of one of them landing on a British carrier after a battle with over 400 holes in it.
400 holes in it.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, so anyway, so that's the kind of stuff that's in here. This airplane right up here hanging is a Mosquito, and it had the distinction until 1943 of being the fastest airplane in the Royal Air Force. Faster than the Spitfires and the Hurricanes. It's a twin engine, multi-use, made almost entirely of wood. So it was light, it was fast. It could be used as a night fighter, it could be used as a medium bomber. One of the most versatile planes in the Allied arsenal for the entire war. And this is a beautiful example. You can see it just kind of looks mean. So, and then here's the big Lancaster bomber down here, and you can see the wingspan. If you get a good shot of this, the wingspan is massive. I mean, this is the one that makes the B-17 look a little bit small. Funny story about this one. If you were a bombardier in the front, you couldn't get any heat in this aircraft. All the heat, the way it worked, it ended up blowing all out into the pilots. And the pilots sometimes would get so warm they would pull their jackets over, pull them out because they got so warm. Meanwhile, just below them, just feet away, guys would just be freezing because the heat just didn't distribute very well. So yeah, this thing could hold tons of bombs.
Saber, look at the map right there. Look at how it has the aircraft slammed into this hangar. You'll see that, chat? So we continue to walk, and we are headed back out to the flight line to go visit That's All Brother. Look at the back of the Vulcan there. That's a cool looking plane.
It is, isn't it though? I mean, the wingspan from tip to tip is just massive.
It's a very cool looking plane. It's like, it's a Delta design, not quite a flying wing because it's got a nose on it, but
it looks like a giant flying triangle from the top. Yeah.
Look
and this is the Sunderland flying boat.
Look at this.
This is the Sunderland flying boat. An absolutely massive machine.
This is like the PBY on steroids.
It is, and it's heavily armed, right?
Yeah.
Or at least heavily for it up front. Long range, it does similar work to the PBY. Long range reconnaissance, it could also carry weapons and troops.
Yep. Look at that bubble on top, like an observation bubble.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big bird.
It's still amazing how they have all these planes jam-packed into this hangar.
And then this is the Hastings, which is a gigantic transport aircraft. Flew in the Berlin airlift. The fastest plane once it was up in the air, but it had a reputation among pilots of being really hard to maneuver on the ground.
Okay.
Kind of a pig to get up in the air, but once it was in the air, its speed was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. I was really excited by this.
I'm just like...
Yeah. It's a huge aircraft.
It really is.
I'm going to go stand over by it.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
go to the corner.
DC3, you should, because I don't think I can get too far from the camera. Watch how small DC3 girl gets as she gets closer to that. She's
For scale.
And she's 6 feet tall.
Wow. Oh, yeah, we have to go. Okay, we're going this way. We're going this way, chat.
Under the Comet. Oh, heavens.
Oh, this is that Tornado I was telling you about, the one that had done 44 missions.
Oh, this one?
That's this jet, 44 missions in Iraq.
Oh, wow.
Close ground support, and for the most part, dropping bombs on airfields that were heavily defended. That was the Tornado's job. Single tail, swept wing jet. Some people say it looks like a cross between an F-111 and an F-14 Tomcat. I can see that.
It's kind of got the intakes of the F-14 there.
Almost like F-15 intakes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's it was a very, very accomplished aircraft. It was a joint European venture. The Italians, the Germans, and the British all worked together on this. And so all their air forces used it and used it extensively. It was an aircraft that could pretty much do anything that you wanted it to do. That's an intake. Now that's an intake.
It looks like a hobbit hole.
It's too big.
That looks like the entrance into the Fortress of Solitude, actually. But this is part of the Vulcan nuclear bomber, which is essentially a giant flying triangle. Yes,
That's a big plane.
that is a big plane.
A giant flying triangle.
Why do we use eons for scale when she's an even 6 foot?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a much easier ratio to work with.
That seems better, actually. I don't think we need Eon anymore,
think
actually.
so.
We have DC-3 girl for scale
You could
now.
just say that's about 3 DC girls tall.
Yeah.
And that means 18 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, rather than 6'9",
Right.
lower in the inches.
Right. Yeah, nice even number.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Meanwhile, eons still in the inches.
This is a Lightning. Developed an early post-war design, actually. One of the from the same design era as the Sabre jet and the MiG-15 and 17, with the main intake on the nose and swept wing design. So this was a British development out of that. Originally German technology.
Cool. Where are we going?
I don't know. We're following
We're
going.
DC-3 girl.
We were stalling because there was a whole bunch of
Yeah, it was like a school group or something.
gang of them. I don't know.
And DC-3 girl was accosted by a group yesterday who all asked her, "Are you an American?"
And then they just surrounded
As if
me.
she was an exotic thing. So
Stared. They surrounded me and stared. I didn't know what to do. I feel like I should stay. This is what we had to see.
what? The giant box?
Yes.
Oh no, this.
Now I'm kind of fascinated by the giant box, and I need to know what it is. I don't know. Oh, it's a processing pad.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we've made it.
The Virgin Atlantic.
Yep.
Yep. This is the one that went around the world. Richard Branson and Per Lindström made the first crossing of the Atlantic by hot air balloon in this capsule in July of 1987. Built by British company Thunder and Colt. Both the capsule and the balloon made by them.
They don't happen to have a Dornier G92, do they?
No. Dornier would be a German aircraft, and no, they don't. Not that I've seen anyway. Maybe they might have in the flying collection.
Looks like it could use a good scrub. Yes. Yes, it could.
That's really close quarters to be in. And the British and American flags on either side. I remember that.
I do too, yeah.
20,000 feet,
31 hours, 41 minutes.
31 hours, 41 minutes at 20,000 feet.
Too much glare there.
Capsule pressurized.
This is just the Atlantic crossing.
Wow. It's a long ways with one person. I mean, there are people that I can spend a lot of time with, but that's a lot of time in a small space, not a whole lot to do. And back in '87, they would have had to have like a VCR and lots of videotapes to watch, and I don't think that would have worked. You can only play so much cards. We didn't see that yesterday when we came through.
No, well, yeah. Okay, so it's 5:20.
5:20.
Should we go back out to the
We
line?
should head back out because then it's going to be time. Can we get up this way?
No, you have to go back around.
I had to catch that shot, sorry. I'm not sorry. Yeah. Briefcase guy came over and I had to catch. Oh, what a weird engine layout.
Oh, wow.
It's like the over and under engine layout.
Yeah, that's on the Lightning.
Ah,
That's on the Lightning.
cool.
Yeah, one of its unique features. And a really low stabilizer.
Yeah.
Low stabilizer. Pretty big aircraft.
Turning sideways, I mean.
Okay, we're now looking into engines.
Constellation?
This is on the Comet.
Thank
This
you.
is, and this is the Comet 4.
The
so
Comet
the
4.
first Comet was the one that had the square windows and
Lots of crashes.
and so yeah, and so they had to go through major redesigns. If they'd gotten the windows right, it would have been more successful than
The British were the first to develop a jet airliner.
Wow.
Airplane windows are rounded.
That's right.
They are
Pressurized.
right.
Because a lot of the DC-3s are not pressurized.
Right.
And so we had the square windows.
We didn't have
Right.
that problem.
And you build a pressurized aircraft that's going to go higher and faster, and all of a sudden your square windows don't work so well.
That's right. Because
Yeah.
they fray.
Yep.
And it's kind of a maze.
Stay in here and nobody will probably notice.
Yeah, we just live in here.
We've walked around on the flight line and no one's noticed.
We did. We actually had to like wave our arms to get somebody's attention to come and get us off the flight line.
I did.
Yeah.
We had to accost someone to remove us from it. That's all there was to it.
We
And the guy kind of looked at me like, well, I guess I could walk you back as a baby. 'cause-
You guess you
had
could?
to ask to be removed.
Exactly.
Look at the engine from the Harrier. Ah, that's cool.
Look at this cute thing behind
Oh
me.
yeah, those right up to the
Yeah.
side decks.
Yeah. Look at the
You guys are fascinated by the engine. Julia's fascinated by the little car on the
by the
other
little
side.
car.
I mean, do you see that thing? That's adorable.
There in the back there, see?
Remember the Harrier can only have like
Yeah, we're kind of wrapping up here at Duxford all of a
Yeah, it
sudden.
looks like it.
Yeah.